Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and the other members of this very distinguished committee for your work to bring forward solutions to strengthen care and resources for our nation's heroes. I'm particularly grateful for your willingness to allow members such as myself who do not serve on this committee the opportunity to raise issues and share concerns that we hear from our veterans back home. My home state of North Carolina has a long, rich tradition of military service, as you know, and we are blessed to have a large community of veterans in the 7th Congressional District, which I have the honor to serve and represent. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to bring to the committee's attention a bill I recently introduced to help veterans restore their credit when it has been degraded because the VA failed to pay an outside provider, or in many cases, as my good friend French Hill just mentioned, in many cases where the payment has been significantly delayed. After hearing from multiple veterans in the 7th District, I was made aware of this issue, and I will say that more than one, many have made me aware of this issue. My office has helped facilitate hundreds of payments to outside providers by intervening with the VA, and that, quite frankly, should not have to be the case. The unfortunate reality is that there are many, many veterans across my district, across our state, and across our country that have had their credit destroyed through no fault of their own as a result of mismanagement and delays at the VA. This, Mr. Chairman, I think you would agree, and the ranking member and the other members of the committee, is just simply unacceptable. H.R. 5500, the Veterans Credit Protection Act of 2018, if enacted into law, will address the backlog of payments, restore faith in the VA, and provide veterans the help they need to restore their credit when they have been the casualty of mismanagement and late payments, and in many cases, no payment made by the VA to the outside providers for their care at all. I appreciate the committee's consideration of this bill so that veterans will no longer have to worry about their credit because of the VA's failure to pay their claims. One other item I want to spotlight real quickly deals with Camp Lejeune, the water quality issue there in Jacksonville, North Carolina, and I know you're quite familiar with that very distinguished base. As you may know, the water at Camp Lejeune was contaminated from 1953 to 1987, leaving hundreds of thousands of veterans at risk for a host of medical ailments and conditions, such as adult leukemia, aplastic anemia, bladder cancer, kidney cancer, liver cancer, multiple myeloma, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and Parkinson's disease. Unfortunately, the conditions I just listed are the only ones that are covered by the VA as presumptive service connected. There are nearly half a dozen more that remain off the list, and therefore veterans have to go through an extensive process to prove exposure to these contaminants contaminants cause their condition. Currently, the evidentiary burden the VA requires for these non-presumptive exposure claims is significantly greater than the standard used for Agent Orange or any other exposure claim. Just this past March, the VA began accepting claims related to the water contamination. According to the VA, it will pay out roughly $2.2 billion in benefits by 2022. While that's a step in the right direction, there's much more work that needs to be done to ensure that all veterans, and civilians I might add, experiencing medical ailments as a result of this contamination are provided the best quality care and the benefit coverage they deserve. And I really encourage and urge the committee to take a strong look at this issue and work with the VA and push the VA to rectify this specific wrong. Thank you again, Mr. Chairman, for allowing me the opportunity to focus on these two matters and present them as best I can. They're very, very important to our constituencies. Thank you.